Now, the next category is one that certainly does bring a lot of perspective into the type of leadership that we have in the country. The Sunday Times Lifetime Achievement Award is one that recognizes and honors those who have made it a priority to make a significant contribution to the South African economy. It's acknowledging the achievements that they've garnered, not only in their personal capacity, but also their professional endeavors. And as we look around the room, there are some familiar faces who have won this particular Lifetime Achievement Award in the past. The likes of Dr. Roel Khoza, who's with us tonight. Not forgetting previous winners like Dr. Whitey Passon, Gloria Serobe, Laurie Dippenaar, and a few others that we can certainly comment on, whether they are present here tonight or have been previous attendees to this event. But one thing's for certain is that these individuals know what it's like to lead, not just businesses, organizations, sectors and industries, but be proactive participants in building our economy. The 2025 Lifetime Achievement Award will be notified in just a moment as we take a look at our screens. But I do think that it is intriguing that I just pepper some insight and interactions I've had with him, given his experience of just over 2 decades within the poultry industry. Someone who has seen and ridden the highs and lows of everything from avian flu to chicken dumping, even witnessing what we continue to see in terms of heightened input costs when it comes to feed, especially in the poultry industry. He's someone who literally embodies gees, has been a proud leader within the business fraternity in South Africa, and of course continues to make his contribution, despite the fact that he might be enjoying some of the latter days of his retirement right now. Ladies and gentlemen, to help us acknowledge and witness the winner of the Lifetime Achievement Award for 2025, let's turn our attention to the screen.
Chris Schutte joined the Astral board in 2007 as director of Meadow Feeds. I joined the board in 2009 and I became chairman in 2014, so I've known him almost 14, 15 years. He's a larger-than-life person. Anyone who has met him will attest to that. He's got a huge sense of humor. He's also a bit of a prankster, which his colleagues have found out to their detriment sometimes. In terms of the company, he brought out the best in people, and he worked as hard as they did. He didn't expect anything from them that he wasn't ready to do himself. With regard to the board, the same. I also think, although one can't be sure, that he brought out the best in the competitors. The poultry industry in South Africa is not very big, so we all know each other. And they knew that they were up against a company that's led by a poultryman.
The first time I met Chris was in 1966 in Sub A at Van Rede Primary School in Oudtshoorn. And our teacher, Mrs. Joubert, actually did a story for us, read a story about the pancake man. Now, in that story, at some point in time, the pancake flew out of the dish and rolled down the street. And then when she got to that part of the story, I started running away and Chris had to chase me. And he chased me and he ran after me, caught me after about 200 meters and took a big tackle and he tackled me. And after some first aid, thereafter our friendship started. I think the one thing that defines Chris's life as a businessman, as a person, is his passion. He has a huge passion to feed people and make sure people get enough proteins on the table that is affordable, not only in our country but also in Africa. And that's the one passion that really drives him.
After, I think, one of the longest terms as the CEO of a listed company on the JSE, Chris leaves a legacy at Astral which I would describe in a few points. The one is that he created a corporate culture at Astral that is one of no nonsense, working hard, playing hard if we had the chance. He's an avid golfer. But mostly because we're in the farming industry, it's probably appropriate, the saying, a boer maak 'n plan. A boer makes a plan. So there was no challenge too big that we couldn't find. So I think that legacy, that corporate legacy is there. It's embedded in the company. I think the board has it, the management has it, and the workers have it. That corporate culture of we're here to do something for the country. We will make a plan if we have a problem, and we'll go through with it.
I think resilience in Chris's life is a very strong point. Many people might not know that he was a South African under-18 boxing champion. And in his day, he knocked out a well-known professional guy, Johnny Deploy, and some of his other colleagues that turned out to be professional boxers. So Chris, when somebody knocks you down, you have to get up. And he can get up. And I think it started from that sporting career. He was also a very good rugby player and a very good cricket player. And if you do sport, you learn resilience.
It's said from Chris that he would arrive on a farm, on a chicken farm, and he would walk into the shed and listen to the sound that the chickens made. And by that he could say they're happy or they're not happy. If they're not happy, there's something wrong. Check the water, check the feed. That's how he influenced the people around him.
I think Chris comes from a very humble beginning in the chicken industry, where he actually picked up eggs initially when he started off from being the CEO for 16 years. And I think he's a man that counts his blessings, and he will always sit back and be very thankful for the opportunities that he had. And because it didn't come easy, he fought for that and he did the right thing. And I think that keeps us all on the ground. I think there's no more deservable person of this award than Chris Schutte, not only for what he did in the business, but also through the example that he sets and the lives that he changed through setting these examples and supplying proteins that are affordable.
Obviously, as a friend and colleague of Chris, I would very much like him to win this award. I think he's a fitting nomination because he embodies what's the best in business leadership. Chris has dedicated his life to the poultry industry and to business in South Africa. He's one of the most generous people I've met, also in his personal life. But perhaps most importantly, he did all this and took Astral to this position that we are at the moment under very difficult personal circumstances also. People don't know this, but Chris had his first triple bypass at the age of 30. He worked the last 6-7 years with a heart capacity of only 35%. And yet, you wouldn't say that when you see him. And I think that's one of the reasons why he can fussbait.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think it goes without saying that we need to send a hearty congratulations to our Lifetime Achiever of the Year award. 'n man wat ken om te vasbyt. En wat 'n wenner is vanaand. Meneer Schutte, kom 'n bietjie nader vanaand, meneer. We'd like to acknowledge you and support you. And Mr. Lyndon Barnes, please come up on stage to hand out this award. Congratulations once again. Please have a wonderful photo opportunity right in the center. Stomach in, chest out, meneer Schutte, as we've discussed. Congratulations again. The applause can certainly continue. Thank you so much. We're not going to let you disappear too quickly. We need you closer to give us your vote of thanks and, of course, votes of recommendations. Congratulations again.
Yes, it's been a long day. By this time, my English is completely up. I mean, listen to the prior speakers. I am really not in that category. And I also now understand what ESG is. I didn't have a clue, but now I know. And to my friends, thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I think if my father was still alive, he would have really appreciated. And if my mother was alive, she most probably would have believed all of it. Yes, as a boy from the Karoo, I hardly, just by the skin of my teeth, made standard 10 or matric, grade 12. Never had the opportunity to study further. So I didn't have the privilege of going to university. And the typical saying is there wasn't money for that, but it's not true. I didn't have the marks or the points or the qualification to go to university. So there was nothing like that. I took the unconventional road. I was in the South African Air Force during the old apartheid war years, and after my 4-year stint there, I was looking for a job because I didn't know where to go, and somebody offered me a job, and this is the short version, on a farm in Mildersdrift as a shed worker. So I started in 1984 as working in a shed, feeding chickens, learn about chickens. And from there on, I stayed in the poultry industry. And I looked after 6,000 chickens at the time in that shed. And I had one assistant. And by the time I left Astral, we had 43 million chickens. And 13,500 employees. So it's been quite a journey. What an eventful journey. It's been fantastic, all the ups and downs, see almost everything that has happened in South Africa and have to do what you have to do every morning. We've got some of our non-executives that are very risk adverse. And there's one guy that always tells me, I don't want egg on my face. And I say, but I wake up with egg on my face every morning. So I want to thank Sunday Times for this forum that acknowledge business people. Obviously, for me to be named amongst the previous recipients of this award is a huge honor. And at my age, I think it's better than sex. So life is, and we often hear that life is a DIY project. You have to do it yourself. Nobody's going to jump up and run to you and help you. So in our business, it's all about people. It's not about chickens. And by the way, we talk about sustainability just to enforce what we've been telling over the past couple of years, that chicken is the most sustainable meat protein source in the world. It is by far, because it uses the least feed to produce a kilogram of meat. So it's more sustainable than any other meat protein. And that's why we focus on it. And there's a huge growth opportunity for chicken in the world because, first of all, you get 8 cycles a year and you use less raw materials than any other species to produce a kilogram of meat. And it's also the most affordable source of meat protein, and that's always been our goal to grow and supply chicken to our people in the country. And it's not always just about profitability. I also want to thank my wife that's here. Just for the record, in the first 10 years of our marriage, we moved home 11 times. And that was always to look for a little opportunity within the organization for something better or maybe 50 Rand a month more, whatever. And she's always just supported me in that. Renette, thank you for that. And a lot of people use quotes tonight, so I also want to quote something. But I'll quote myself. It adds a bit of spice to the conversation if I can. So Astral has got the saying, and it most probably evolved around me because, as you know, I don't know anything about academics or figures or anything. I'm farm boy from the Karoo. But I hired the best people that I could find and built a super team over the past 25, 40 years, great people. And it's all about that. And I always thought I don't want to be the leader that force people to follow me, but rather start with something and a vision and then invite them on a journey. And that's worked so well for Astral through very turbulent times. And to Gary that's here tonight, the new CEO of the past 8-9 months. They're already doing better than what I could do. And boys, don't fuck it up, please. So my quote is, in Afrikaans, as jy dom is, moet jy slim wees. And that's how I saw my life. I didn't have the qualifications to lead a company. It was against all odds that I was appointed in 2009 as the CEO of a top 100 listed companies. I was more surprised than anybody else. And I even had a computer and stuff. I was just looking around what to do with this. I still had a Rolodex at the time. But in English, if you're not too clever, you have to be clever. And the best thing you can do is get a common goal, get the right team, invite them on a journey, and keep your eye focused on the end goal. And that's how we grew from 600 chickens to 40 million chickens every minute of the day. As we sit here, we've got 40-odd million chickens that we take care of. I thank Sunday Times and the co-sponsors, BCX, and I almost said, Deloitte. Thank you very much for this opportunity, much appreciated. Thank you.
Congratulations again to Chris Schutte. Colorful conversations and really personal perspectives that have been shared, but really, really phenomenal. I must tell you, back when we used to unpack company results with him, we used to call him our favorite worm in the farming and agricultural space. So it does give us some perspective around the contributions that he's made in South Africa's economy.